All right, hello, boys and girls. I'm sorry that there was no sound in what I posted last night. I had a long, hard day, but I know there's sound in this one right now. I had my microphone turned off. Let's see if I can quickly go over what I did without sound, and maybe you can understand. Basically, we're talking about bringing in Geo-Shells, and what I tried to say last night is that there's a number of things that you have to be concerned about when you're bringing in Geo-Shells, and I'm going to use Aura just to. These are all Dave Abbo's things, Borgs that he makes. First of all, if you get this, you're okay because it hasn't hidden any parts. Sometimes, and we've discussed this many times in the past, sometimes this will come up and say, I can't find a file properly. Then you have to drag and drop another Genesis figure into your DAS thing and export it. And that happens because parts are hidden. They might hide the ears or they might hide the feet or whatever. And so it doesn't see an entire figure. So you just have to drag and drop another figure in. But most of the Borgs that Dave Abbo makes don't have that problem. So we go to advanced, we load it in. The sad thing we have to do is we should always bake the body texture. The reason for that is that one of the things that Dave does is also put textures directly on the figure that we want to import. And if you don't bake the body textures, you can bring them in with the Genesis map converter. We're going to show you that too. The other thing is accessories. Bring all this stuff in as accessories. You can change it to hair if you wanted to, not necessary. Accessories, okay? Two Geo-Shells here and a helmet. Bring it in. All right. So Geo-Shells are just basically a form-fitting bodysuit that fits over. And the problem is that when the character comes in, it isn't posed to line up to that Geo-Shell. So the first thing we have to do is to line it up to that Geo-Shell. But I want to talk in general about Geo-Shells. Sometimes if they're bodysuits, in other words, if they fit perfectly over the skin of the character, you don't need a Geo-Shell at all. You can just bring in the textures yourself, and I'll show you how we can do that if you have the right tools. Um, However, a lot of times the Geo-Shell adds geometry to a figure. It's not just a bodysuit, it has geometry or it hides the mesh underneath, so you need the geometry. So you can't get away with that. And then the third thing that happens is sometimes the developer gives you morphs for that character, and the morphs contribute to the Geo-Shell process, and therefore you don't really need the Geo-Shell because it's morphed into that. So we're going to show you that right away. We're going to turn off the Geo-Shells first, and you can see that Dave Abbo has morphed this character. Has provided these morphs. You can see that the character herself is morphed in strange and unusual ways. So a lot of this process we could achieve by just putting the skins directly on this character. And you might say, well, Mike, how do we do that? Well, you can only do that if you can do it in an outside program. You can have Photoshop or whatever. But if you have the right tools, you can actually do it inside of this. So you can go to the textures, for example. Well, we'll select that base content. And if you have the skin gen tools, you go down to here to the skin gen tools and to the UV transfer. The UV transfer transfers the textures from the from the character from that Geo-Shell onto the avatar itself. And you might say, "Wow, Mike, that's great. That's exactly what we need. We just need that. We just need to do that." So I don't even need the skin UV. I can just drag and drop those textures, can I? No, you can't. I'm going to show you why. So we'll go over here to the, let's say we'll do the skin of the, we'll just do the leg. Go down here, whoops, go down here, skin of the leg. So there's the base color of the leg. Yeah, I can just drag and drop that skin of the leg right in there, right? Where is it? Okay, legs. Drag and drop it right into that base color. That's be perfect. No, it doesn't work. You see, it doesn't line up. That's because the legs have been remapped from the DAS figure to fit the CC3 character figure. And that remapping process is what goes on while you're waiting for the character to load. So what you need is you need these tools, which help you remap this figure. So you want to activate the editor if you have the skin gen tools. And like I say, if you do a lot of DAS transfer, the skin gen tools are worth it for a lot of reasons. They're worth it even if you don't, because you can do a lot of overlays. But I would highly recommend getting them. And so you go to body, and we go to, this is the DAS 8 female, and we go to the leg. We just add that right on here. Got the leg. Select that. Then go to the textures, and then we can drag the leg right onto that base. There's a base color there. And whoops, except I didn't do it right. I did it on body. Here, well, we'll start that over again. All right, yeah. Let's do that over again. Let's do it on the leg. There we go. Did I mention that I just got up this morning? All right, let's try that again. It's very early in the morning here. And I found out that my program, so there you go. So there, you can see that it maps up fine to that. Okay, maps up fine. So we could drag and drop all those textures over. That's one way to do it. However, because this Geo-Shell does add some geometry to it, and because some processes, thanks. Oh, hey, I'm free from viruses. Because some of the cyborgs that Dave creates, you can't just drag and drop the textures over. We have to use the other process of actually mixing and matching or fixing the Geo-Shells to them. So I'm going to show you that process. So here you can see that the pose doesn't fit. So what we have to do is, with that base figure select, we go to pose. And basically you want to pick the OpenAE4, OpenAUE4. That matches the closest to it. And then it's just a matter of matching this pose up. I'm going to not go through this because I want to keep this shorter and don't want to duplicate everything I did last night. But if we unlock the feet here, have mirror turned on because you want everything to happen exactly the same way. And then we can come down here to the side and move the feet. And notice you're trying to get the upper leg line up here to this, and move that up that way. Try to not to go out too far. There we go. And then rotate. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect. The reason that the lower parts don't have to be perfect is this isn't going to need to match up nearly as much as the hands are going to need to match up. That's the tricky part of trying to get this to work. So I would spend, and I normally to do this, it takes about a half hour. Again, I'm not going to do that, but I would spend a good half hour trying to get it lined up as well as you can, and then then you can yeah. And the hands the same way. I'm going to do, you go through and do the fingers. But if you're doing about a half hour, you'll get it pretty well matched up and as matched up as you need to be. So let's assume that we've done all that. Got it matched up just perfectly. And we're going to the scene. And then for each of the Geo-Shells, we're going to go in and we're going to transfer the skin weights. In the past, I used to split up the Geo-Shells and split the shells from the hands and then the whole rest of the body. But actually, according to Mr. G, I found out I don't need to do that. So you can just use other, and other will match up everything. So you apply it to that. And we do the same thing for the other Geo-Shell. Other, apply that. And now the Geo-Shells are matched up perfectly. Now we go into the character, and we go ahead and to all the skin textures, we're going to go ahead and change them into PBR. Everything except for the face, because the face is going to be still that. And so then we just drop the opacity all the way down. And again, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. Let's see if I do this quick enough to get this going here. Opacity down. Body. Come on. Quickly, before I wake up. Realize what a nightmare this is. Okay. Anyway, you get the idea. Drag all those down opacities, and you'll still see some skin showing up here. That's because of the facial hair. Well, I had facial textures, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Oh, and the nails. You want to definitely turn the nails off completely because they'll show up. And one thing real quick I just thought of before I forget. if you have a helmet like this, make sure that you, before you start reposing it, make sure you go in and attach it to the right place. In this particular case, it has to be attached to the head. If you don't attach it to the head when you move it, it's going to fly all over the place. Okay, there we go. So now we're set. So now if we go into pose and we pick a checking pose, something like that, you'll see there. Okay, fine. Now you might say, yeah, Mike, but what about the head? Okay, the head. This is where we need the textures properly. So we'll go into the head. And so here, this is where that UV thing comes in real handy. So we go into textures here, and female, go into here. Boy, I'm trying to operate at light speed here. And if any of this is really too quick, you can go back and look at the silent version and see if the silent version makes any sense. I'm sure to the people that speak another language, the silent version was just fine. They went, yeah, okay, that sounds good. Anyway, so females, okay, face. Want face? Add the face texture on here. And for the face texture, we're going to do a few things. We're going to come in and we're going to, for the various parts here, first we're going to have to find the various parts. They're somewhere. Face, okay. Face, and again, I'm not looking. There's different face compartments you can pick. Lots of different compartments and ideas, but you just have to pick which one you want. You can do this. You can also go and do a mask on this if you want. So you can mask it here, so you can just get the lines. So you get those lines in that face. You can do all kinds of stuff here. The glow maps. There's an emission somewhere here that I'm not seeing offhand. Emission. So you can drop that into the glow, so you get various parts of her to glow, etc., etc. I'm not going to do a ton of stuff here. You can play around with as much as you want. But I did want to show you that. You might say, Mike, but the head didn't do the whole part. Yes, of course. That's because they've split this up into back skull as well. So you actually have to put the back skull map on here as well. And the back skull is deceptive because it's not using the facial textures. It actually uses the torso. So you come into the torso, and again, you play around. And I'm not, going to pick whatever the thing is here. You can just figure out which one you want. I did that one. Take the line for the opacity. You just figure out which one you want. There's 1,000 million combinations here, and I'm not going to try to go through all of them. But basically, that's what you do. And then the last thing you should probably do is go through the various parts and then add the kind of shiny. Oh, I'm sorry. The last thing we got to do is we got to put this in a pose here that we can operate quickly from. We need to still hide those skin parts. You can see those skins are up there. So go to the scene here, edit. I'm sure I'm going to get some complaints. People are going to go, you went way too fast. I'm sorry, folks. Really, 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 I really am. But I just want to, I'm trying to do this over again, and it's annoying to have to do it. You basically hide the various parts. So you have to hide some parts up here and stuff, but you get the idea. You hide that skin. And then what you want to do is you go into the various skins here, the shells, and because Dave Abbo doesn't supply any like metallic textures and things, he does supply the glowing maps, so you can put those in. So you can put like here, you can go back into those emission maps, and of course I closed that down, didn't I? Come on, and time, cheers, Abbo, okay, so like for the torso, see if I can find the torso emission. So there's different emission maps, so you can put those in the glow, so they'll glow. You can adjust the colors. The way he does colors is he just sets the diffuse color, so you can adjust that, down however you want and that sort of thing. And then the same thing goes for, notice how that's because I didn't say yes. Okay. I'm kind of annoyed by that, but that's all right. And then you can make it metallic, just the color there, so you can put the brightness up and then the shininess down, so that sort of thing. But I won't go through all that. But essentially, after you've done all that stuff, you're going to end up with something a lot like this, which hopefully we'll be close to exactly what you want for all your avatars. And I really apologize again. Sorry for the lack of sound in the first one. Hopefully between that one and between my explanation and this one, you'll get the idea that this is how you can bring in Geo-Shells that will work perfectly with anything you want to do. And if you get a specific Geo-Shell that you're having a problem with, and you want me to take a look at it, I will be glad to do that. I can't do 8.1 stuff. 8.1 is not supported by CC3 yet. Someday it may be, but not yet. So we can't do that. And there's also some. I looked at the Borg one Dave Abbo made for this doesn't work at all. It's not really good at all. So just ask me before you buy anything, and I'll be glad to check it out. And again, apologize for last night. Take care, and I'll see you around the forums.